Yeah. Hi guys, good to see you again. Welcome back to the channel. Well, I'm joined today by a good mate, Steve Paston, who's mainly a sports photographer, but he's come down to the New Forest today to join me for a good wander round. And Steve's just bought the R5, and we thought it'd be a good opportunity to do a bit of a comparison between the R5 and the 5D Mark IV that I'm using, because obviously now that it's out, I've been wondering whether it'd be worth upgrading or not. So I'm going to use Steve for his knowledge of the R5, and we're going to do a few comparisons, going to find a few compositions and see what the difference is. Obviously the R5's got a 45 megapixel sensor, so that's a big reason. But am I happy with my 30 megapixel sensor? At the minute, yes, but you're always wanting to upgrade, aren't you? So anyway, before I forget, Steve's got a YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. Go and check it out. He's got some great travel videos on there from his sport days. So anyway, we'll go and find a nice composition or two and get comparing the two camera bodies. Turn around so you can see me looking at the camera. Right, so I must say thanks to Mick Doherty, I think it's Doherty or Doherty. Thanks Mick for giving me the heads up on this little area of the forest. It's a new place for me to come and have a look round, and there's lots of beech trees in amongst all these pines that are really well lit from the top of the canopy. Obviously there's a bit of a gap at the canopy from the top where the beech once was, you know, so making some lovely frames. Mick's got some lovely frames, so thought we'd come out here today and have a look for these. So we found one, so thanks Mick, and we're just going to have a walk round now and see if we can get a nice composition, and then we'll get both the cameras out. So we actually weren't too happy with that one because the light wasn't fantastic on the tops of the branches, so we've had a good wander around and we found this lovely beech, and I think this is the one that you took, Mick, so thanks again mate. But yeah, there's some lovely light on this beech. We've got the cameras side by side, no pressure 5D Mark IV, but we'll just grab these shots and then we'll have a chat about the cameras. Right, so while Steve's just getting set up, we've got the cameras next to each other. I'm already feeling under pressure. But the main reason really is the fact that that's got a 45 megabyte camera sensor, which is obviously another 15 on top of the 5D. But I'm really happy with this quality wise. But anyway, we're just playing about with the screens on the back. I'm sure they're both, I know the R5's got a 3.2 inch screen, and we've had a quick sort of rough measurement, and I'm sure they're the same screens, although I should say that's better pixelation wise, and it's got some other great features on it for focusing, which we'll look into in a minute. But we're just comparing the shutter noise, and this is so much louder than that. Obviously the R5 can have the, is it the electronic shutter, so it's completely silent. So it can be completely silent, which is ideal for Steve and for me if I do any sport, like for snooker and things like that, or conferences. But to be honest, when it's not on the electronic shutter, the standard mechanical is still really quiet. So we're just gonna, hopefully the camera will pick it up, the microphone will pick it up, but I'm going to fire mine 1 second earlier than Steve's on a 10-second, and we'll see the difference in the noises. So I'll fire mine now, and you go now, and then we're both on 10 seconds, so just a bit more of a clonk with the 5D Mark IV. You can hardly hear that. Hopefully you might not have even picked it up on that microphone. It's not, so we're a fair way away from it, but yeah, that's really impressive, the difference in the noise. And again, like wildlife, it'd be really handy for wildlife. I mean, you can put this on silent, but you've still got the clonk on the silent mode. But can you? On these have got a silent mode, haven't they? Like the 1DXs.
Yeah, so put it on silent mode.
Yeah, so you could put it on the silent mode. Right, so we've just worked out that you can only have the silent shutter on the 5D Mark IV when you're not in live screen mode. So we've now set it, but obviously I can't put it on the 2 or 10 seconds. So I'm going to press the shutter now. As you can hear, I hope you can hear that, there's still quite a clonky noise even in silent, so 1-0 to the R5 with the shutter mode. Right, so another difference on the R5 compared to the 5D Mark IV, flip it out screen, which I actually quite like when you're in portrait orientation. Doesn't matter how low or high you've got the tripod, you can alter the screen obviously. Looking down, you could, you know, if you had the tripod higher, you could angle the screen so that you're looking up at it, you know, and you don't have to go on tiptoes, so really good. And as you can see, Steve's got the L bracket on as well, and it doesn't hinder the screen operation whatsoever. So that's another really good point, that you can still have the L bracket on, because I know some camera bodies, when you've got the L bracket on, you can't twist and turn the screen very well. So yeah, that's really good. And the next method that we're going to look at is focusing on the back of the screen. There's a really good techie piece on here that, again, the 5D Mark IV hasn't got. Let's have a look now. So Steve's just sorting out the focus guides in the settings so that we can show you the 3 pins for the focusing. And as you can see, Steve's got his old 70 to 200 on, so he is using the adapter at the moment, so he hasn't got any of the R lenses as yet, but works fine with the adapter, doesn't it?
Yeah, it works
absolutely fine with the adapter, so that's no issue. You know, if you just want to get the body for a start, if you've already got lots of L lenses, that's no problem. Right, another really good feature on the R5 is the focus guides, isn't it?
Yeah.
Call it focus guides. Now, as you can see, I'm filming on the other camera as well. I've got a close-up on the screen, so Steve's roughly manually focused to a certain point, and as soon as he gets nearly in focus, the focus guide pins appear in white and the little focus square on the screen. And now, as Steve focuses, just fine-tunes it, the pins move together and then go green, and I love that feature. That's a really good feature, that, especially for someone with bad eyes. I mean, I wear contact lens, and sometimes looking on the back of the screens on the cameras, I struggle a bit. So having them 3 focus points turn green, it's a cracking feature, that is, and I love that. So, and then obviously you've got your touch screen. Can you use your touch screen to operate the shutter when you're in that mode?
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
So you're doing it now?
And listen, I was just taking a picture.
Oh, and there's the silent shutter as well. So you've got your focus guides. That's on the electronic shutter, which was absolutely silent, which has blown me away. But so not only can you use them 3 focus guides, turn them green, touch the screen, 10-second shutter, or what are the shutter delays on this?
10 seconds as standard, or 2 seconds.
So it's the same as the 5D4?
Yeah, exactly the same.
So 10-second and a 2-second shutter delay on that, which is ideal. But yeah, so that's your focus guides. Another really good feature on the R5. Job's good.
I can look through the viewfinder,
Yeah.
focus it, take the picture, and then I can preview the picture
In the eyepiece?
in the eyepiece and see exactly what it looks like, and then still touch the
Right.
button again to get back to live view, and then continue shooting.
So you don't need to take the shot, come away,
Yeah.
press play on your screen, look at it, and then
check everything.
alter your settings if you need to.
No.
You can do it all in the eyepiece.
All in the eyepiece, and also the exposure
Right.
is what you actually shoot as well.
Right. So another feature on the R5 obviously is the electronic eyepiece, and basically what you see through the eyepiece, unlike your conventional cameras, is actually the shot. So as you alter, you can be looking through the eyepiece and altering your exposure, and it'll alter it in the eyepiece. Is that right?
Yeah. So as you can see here, it's getting brighter.
Yeah. So what you're seeing on there is actually
The exposure.
what
that
you're
I'm actually
seeing
shooting, yeah.
in the electronic eyepiece.
Yeah.
So that would save a lot of time. I know me, I've got a bad habit. What do you call it? Chimping.
Chimping, yeah.
Chimping, where you take the shot and then you look at you press play, or you look at the replay that you've just taken of your exposure, so you're in and out all the time, whereas that you can just keep your eye to the shutter. So yeah, that electronic shutter,
never miss a moment.
yeah, never miss anything, especially with Steve with his sport. I know when I've shot the sport, you'll take a shot and then you'll have a quick look at it, whereas you can just keep looking and it just flashes up really quick.
You can have it set for preview, so you can just press on your normal play button, or you can actually have it set up so when you take a picture it automatically pops up for a brief seconds, and then it goes back to normal live mode.
Right.
But that can be slightly frustrating and
yeah. But can you turn that off in the shutter?
you can turn that off in the camera so that
So that it doesn't show you the preview in
Yeah.
the shutter,
No, so it doesn't show you the actual
in the
picture.
eyepiece.
It doesn't show.
Yeah. So you've always got a live view
Yes.
on the eyepiece,
But
like
you've
the
got
conventional
option,
bodies.
But you have the option to see the picture as you've just taken it for about a second,
Right.
and then it goes back to live view through the actual viewfinder.
So perhaps when you're shooting football and that, you don't really want that on, do you?
No, but if you was doing a group picture, say for example you are photographing the mascots and the captains on the centre circle, you can take the picture, see the picture you've just taken without dropping the camera,
Without looking.
double check that everything's all carry on, and then still take more pictures.
And all that time you've got their attention as well.
Exactly.
As soon as you drop the camera at a conference or you're doing something, they're going to think he's finished. And
then say it, yeah.
and so if
So
you're always like this, you can be checking
You can
in
just
secret.
Yeah, you can just have a double check that
Yeah.
everything's correct and continue shooting.
Yeah, that's a really good feature, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's 3-0 to the R5. Right. So I am now top model and we're just testing out the eye detection on the autofocus system. So I'm just, as you can see, Steve's there, we haven't moved far. I'm just standing in front of the lens, and has it picked me up, Steve?
Of course, yeah.
So it's picking me up and it's moving with me.
Yeah, it's tracking your eye.
Right, spot on, that's brilliant. And again, really good for wildlife or whatever. So yeah, that's another impressive feature. Right, do I look nice? Right, I think that's 4-0 to the R5. I'm not doing very well with the old 5D Mark IV here, am I? I can sense some pennies being spent soon. Right, so I'm going to have a go now on the R5 while Steve's racing about, and we're going to get a bit of recording done of him racing about, turning round, and just watch how the autofocus eye detection works on Steve. Right then, Steve, let me just loosen the tripod. Right, so you're in the white piece, and now I've got the button half depressed. Yep, and it's tracking you, lovely. So just, yeah, as I'm following you, so this would be good for video, turn round. Yeah, it's tracking your body, and then as soon as you turn round, it's caught your eye again, mate. And as you turn round, the square's going a bit bigger. Now it's following your body. Yeah. And then if I take a shot, oh, it's got the tree now. Still got my finger half, yep, that's it, straight back on your eye again. That's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to take a shot of that, and then I took a shot, and it's back to your eye. That is really impressive. Yeah, coming towards me. Take another shot. Yeah, still on your eye. Still on your eye. Still on. Oh, it's gone orange now. You're out of. So that means you're out of limits on the lens, doesn't it? Yeah.
Minimum focus distance.
That's really impressive. Mugshot. So really impressed with that. That's fantastic.
So even street photography, you could have your focus like here.
Yeah.
And then.
So we're just talking focusing points and the fact that this has got about 55 billion focus points on it. But if I just go into this, I'm just going to turn my screen round. But if we go into Steve's screen, you can see that it's got focus points everywhere, top to bottom corner. Look, that's really impressive. Well, we've gone out of focus now. Hang on, that's it. We're focusing now.
And look how fast this is.
And that's really fast as well, isn't it? Crikey.
All on the joystick.
You want it to focus on a certain tree or anything, you can whack it. It goes to the edge of the frame, doesn't it, all the way round?
Pretty much to the edge.
Crikey, and it's really quick on the joystick as well.
Yeah.
Crikey. And then, just while we're on the just close-ups of the body, obviously there's what we got, 1, 2. There's an extra mode wheel on the R5, which obviously Steve has got set for. What you got set for?
So I've got it as a shortcut. So on the top is a multi-function button.
Right, I'm just going to go in again close.
And then I can, on the fly, change my ISO.
ISO on the back wheel.
I can do bracketing.
Yep.
Color balance, motor drive for auto or one shot, and my motor drive section there
on the back wheel.
The ISO.
So what do you use what I would call the new mode wheel?
So the mode wheel here basically just brings up your standard functions.
Right. And what do you use that wheel for at the moment?
This basically is this. So go back to, so do that again.
Right. So, all right. So it's.
So basically it's this.
It's that on the top. Yeah.
It's that
yeah,
effectively.
Yeah.
So if you click on mode.
But you were just using that to alter something, weren't you?
No, so I had it customized on one of these buttons here.
Right.
So this is a custom button.
Yeah.
That you can go in, and then I can change my ISO.
Yeah.
I can then do that quickly. I can then change my motor drive.
Right.
My autofocus to single shot or salvo, white balance, and my and compensation.
And you can program that wheel to do all them?
Yep, all in there, so I can do that all looking through the viewfinder.
Right. Crikey. It really is an impressive piece of kit, and we're only just covering the the brief bits. I mean, you can delve deep into all the tech on it, but anyway, we're just going to go for a walk now and find a different subject, and we'll have a chat about it as we're going for a walk. And it's so good to know someone like that.
Yeah, you just need that little contact.
Yeah. Which is really
Yeah, so possible. Yeah. But then all the others.
Right, well, we've grabbed a quick bit of lunch and made a coffee, and we just sat down on this old fallen oak just to chat a bit more about the R5. And so what else do we need to know, Steve? It's 4K.
It's 4K video. It can also shoot 8K as well.
Yeah, let's just talk about vlogging a bit, because obviously I might be interested in using it for vlogging as well. I mean, because I use my 5D for vlogging. So it does 120 frames per second at 4K, doesn't it? Which is nice for slow motion stuff.
Yep, and I guess one of the advantages would be the fact with this, you have the flip out screen. So if you was on a wide angle lens, obviously you can then hold it and then see what you're framing as well.
Yeah.
Whereas with the 5D, you're just hoping and praying.
Yeah, because I can't see what's going on with my 5D.
Yeah, so this is so much better for doing that.
Yeah.
It's also got effectively a button here on. So on this button here, you can effectively click on that, and it can switch straight to video and start recording.
Right.
So in the settings, you can have it all set up for your video modes, and at a touch of a button, you can go straight into video. So if you were doing stills and video, it's one button.
Yeah.
And so that could make life easier for vlogging.
Yeah.
Or even just, doing a bit of stills and video at the same time.
Yeah. See, my M50 can do that. You can switch pretty quick.
Yeah.
From one to the other, but obviously it's not got the guts that's got.
No.
But yeah, so
it's not something that I've tried yet, but I had plans.
Yeah.
Potentially for travel videos and stuff.
Flick it straight in.
Just shooting on this now.
Yeah.
Potentially, because it's got the built-in IBIS, and with the IBIS on the actual camera itself, the image stabilization, the two working together, you don't even need a gimbal. You could just hand hold it. And
yeah, because of that's another thing as well, in-body stabilization. Yeah. Yeah, so not only have you got that, but you've got it in the lens as well.
The lens,
and the RF lenses have got them, haven't they?
Yeah, and the two of them just talk together apparently.
Yeah, so yeah. So you could literally handhold without a gimbal.
2470, 1635.
Yeah.
Just old school vlogging like that, and then you can then pick up and start shooting.
Shooting on. That'd be really handy. That.
But again, it depends if you want to shoot 1080p, 4K, or even 8K.
Yeah.
That's when we're starting to talk file sizes.
Yeah.
Which I haven't got into yet.
Oh, talking about files, CF Express card and an SD card.
Yes.
Twin slot.
This will shoot on your standard SD cards. So whatever you've got now, you can still use those.
Yeah.
And then it's got the new C Fast Express card, which is something slightly different.
C Fast, yeah.
Which basically is this card here. It's a very small card.
Right.
And at the moment, these only are 64 gig. It's the smallest card you can get, and that card cost me around about £120. Compared to the SD card, which I have in here as well, 20, 30 pounds, depending on the speed of the writing.
But for vlogging, did you say earlier for vlogging you'd have to use the CFast Express?
I think if you were doing 4K and above, I would probably say use the CFast.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's a lot of data, and also transferring over as well.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're on the SD, I mean, I don't really know. 1080p, you'd probably be perfectly fine for vlogging.
That's all I use, 1080 in that.
Yeah.
That's all I upload to YouTube is 1080.
Yeah, so I think in a way you could just, you know,
get away with the SD card.
do your SD cards. I mean, and wait until cards come down in price.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Standard compact flash cards, those were really expensive back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, 512 megabytes would have cost you 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds. Now you can get a 32, 64 gig card for a tenner,
Yeah.
20 pounds.
Yeah.
So these cards will come down in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But you just need bigger hard drive space. That's the thing. You'll be spending your money on hard drives.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I film in 4K, which I do now and again, my laptop hates it.
Exactly. Yes. So I haven't shot 4K on this yet, so it'd be interesting to see what Final Cut does.
And obviously they have got a bit of an issue with overheating, haven't they? But
potentially, yes. But
is that more 8K RAW?
Could be 8K RAW,
Yeah.
but I think also 4K. But then I believe that's also if you're shooting for long periods. If you're vlogging, honestly, you're only doing a couple of minutes at a time.
Yeah.
You don't need to film 10, 20, 30 minutes in a block.
Especially at 4, like 1080 is fine,
Yeah.
I reckon. I can't see it being a problem.
No.
But 12 frames per second mechanical.
Yep.
20 frames per second on the live view.
On electronic shutter.
Yeah, electronic shutter, which is absolutely phenomenal.
So basically, I shot some pictures the other day, and I ended up shooting 60 frames in 3 seconds.
60 frames.
And that ended up being about 3.5 gigs worth of pictures.
See, that's obviously aimed more
in RAW.
at sport and stuff, innit?
Yeah.
And that's in RAW.
In RAW.
Yeah.
So you think of that, you do that for a burst.
Again, you're going to need bigger cards.
That's why you basically 64 is the minimum.
Yeah, for your sport and that.
Yeah, that they sell.
I mean, landscape's not an issue.
Landscapes, not so much.
Not an issue, really.
Unless
you get a deer running through the frame.
So unless you were doing coastal and you're doing waves with storms.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I did some pictures up in Scotland in September, and I must have shot a good 100 to 300 pictures of waves just crashing and crashing and crashing, waiting to get that perfect shot.
Yeah. Whereas with this, you could get that perfect shot a lot quicker, perhaps.
Well,
you could do.
I could basically get the stat sequence and have a lot
to choose
more
from
within that one wave. Instead of getting half a dozen frames.
Yeah, so it might be handy, for stuff like that.
So for storms, yes, that would definitely come in handy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And how long do you think it'll be before you get a lens, an RF lens?
Potentially, whenever potentially the RF50 1.8 comes out, I may get that, because that would just be nice for doing quick, simple portraits.
Because we were talking earlier, the RF lenses have got a control ring on the lens halfway up, which you could control your compensation. You can customize it.
You can customize it.
Yeah, which would be really handy, and that's on every lens.
I believe that would be all the pro lenses. So I'm not sure about the Nifty 50 1.8, but all your L lenses of these, the equivalent RF will basically have that, so you can customize it. This whole camera has got multiple buttons, and you can customize it to however you want. Which is fantastic. So it works to the way you prefer.
Slightly smaller body than 5D.
I'd say about 30% smaller.
And lighter, but it's still got a good grip.
Yeah.
Still got a good grip on it.
Is perfect.
Even for me with big hands, it still looks like I could get 4 fingers on it easy.
Yeah, easily you can rest it nice and that.
Yeah.
Whereas the R, when it came out, it was just a bit too small.
I take it you can get battery grips for it.
Yep, so you can get 2 battery grips. You can get the standard battery grip, just so that you can shoot like that. So that's around about £400-500.
Yeah.
And then you can get one which is more for sports and news, and that actually has an Ethernet cable built in, like
Right.
Part 1 DXs.
Right. Yeah.
And that you're looking around £1,300 to £1,400.
Just for the Ethernet.
Just for because it has Ethernet, so that you can send off camera.
Yeah.
Like that.
Batteries are the same.
Batteries are exactly the same.
LPE6.
Slightly newer batteries, but they still fit the standard batteries from your 5Ds.
But apparently the software in these
A little bit more
produces
efficient.
better efficiency,
Yeah.
up to 14% efficiency than the
yeah.
5D batteries, because the 5D batteries do go flat pretty quick. So that's good. That's another plus on it. Batteries.
But the batteries, you can still use your same batteries. So you don't really need.
Yeah.
It comes with a battery. So if you've got like several, which I have, just use those, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unless you lose them, maybe, or wait until the prices come down and get like a couple of the, when they come down. At the moment they're about £100. So maybe wait until they're around about the £50-60 mark, if you really need them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else is in it now. Got your hot shoe. I'm just looking at it, really, just generally looking at it.
Oh yes, another feature on this camera, which I haven't got to play yet, apparently. You can charge this up with it's USB-C.
Right.
So you can tether to your laptop using USB-C instead of USB, the micro USB.
Yeah.
But you can also charge the camera with a power bank. So you can plug a power bank into this camera, and so if you're doing night trails overnight, you could have that running.
Right.
And leave that running, and that powers your battery until that's flat.
Yeah.
And then you've still got a fully charged battery.
Yeah,
so effectively you could have triple the battery life on one battery if you're doing time lapses.
Yeah.
I haven't tried this feature yet, but
Star trails and that.
it's something that I might definitely try.
Because the cameras are going for 3-4 hours on star trails.
Yeah, so you could easily just do it. You could be out in the middle of nowhere and just use a 10,000, 20,000 amp battery pack, plug it in. That's fully now charged.
Yeah.
That will run that down. You could then swap it with another one, and you've still got the battery in to keep it rolling.
Yeah.
So in theory, you could just keep rolling for hours in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which is handy.
That'd be really handy. So overall, I think it beats the 5D hands down, just for the 45 megapixel sensor alone, really, for landscapes and woodlands. But I don't know what how much are they in the UK for too?
Basically 4200, which is the R5. You're looking probably the R6 is around about
2 something. Yeah. But the
2.5.
R6 is only 20 megapixel.
Yes, 20 megas. 20.
Yeah. Basically, this has got all the kit of the 1DX Mark III, hasn't it?
Pretty much. It's got exactly the same focusing.
Yeah. Plus other bits as well.
Yeah.
Like your focus guides and stuff. I don't think the 1DX has got that, has it?
No.
Which would be really handy.
And it doesn't have to flip out screen.
Yeah. So
But you don't need that for sport.
advantages for me for landscapes would be flip out screen, which would be handy. Obviously the sensor size, 45 megapixel sensor size. The focus guides, that'd be really handy.
That's handy, especially if you was doing portraits of people in the forest, anywhere, or even just animals.
Yeah.
And it's got eye tracking focus.
The eye tracking again,
but it's also got animal tracking as well, so you could photograph deer.
Yeah, because there is an animal and a people setting in the menu, isn't there? Which is
Don't
good.
know how it works that out, but it does.
Animals not all animals have got bigger eyes, have they? I was thinking ponies then, because we were looking for some ponies earlier, but we couldn't find any, so that's why we ended up doing it ourselves, running around like lunatics. But jobs are good. And what else is on my list? I don't think there's much else on there really. We've covered the image in body stabilising, flip screens, 3.2 inch, eye focusing, dual cards, same batteries. From the EOS R, they've gone back to the joystick and the wheel.
Yeah.
The EOS R had the arrows, didn't they, in the circle,
and then a touch bar.
Yeah. So they've reverted back to the joystick and the wheel, which is loads better.
Basically, if you're used to the 5D pretty much.
Yeah.
It's exactly the
Yeah,
same.
it
The
is.
menu options is the same. It's just slight difference in new stuff that
Yeah.
you have to learn. Other than that, you're pretty much 80%, 90% the
Yeah.
same.
Oh, job's a good one. I need to save up some pennies now. Thanks, Steve.
I planted the seed.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. It'd be really interesting. What we're going to do, Steve's going to give me the image that we both took of that beech tree, and then I'll pop it on the screen now, and we'll just zoom in and see the difference in quality. Right, so as you can see here, I've got both frames on the screen. Obviously you can see straight away that at 1/16 size, obviously the 45 megapixel R5 is going to be a bigger file size opposed to the 5D Mark IV at 30 megapixels. So straight away you've got a bigger file size, but we basically know that anyway. It's quality that we're interested in. Now unfortunately, because we were racing about making the review and thinking what to do, and then we thought we better get some shots of this beech tree quick, I forgot to ask Steve what his settings were. I shot this beech at f3.5. Steve shot it at f8. Now, obviously I was going for everything else sort of nice and soft and just the beech tree itself nice and sharp, whereas Steve wanted a bit more depth. However, for quality wise, we know that we both focused on exactly the same point, because I did ask him that. So we focused on the tree, so when I bring it in now, it should be the same sort of quality. So this is at a 16th, as you can see, bigger file size, we know that anyway. So let's just go up. And the other thing as well, I think I was slightly more exposed than Steve was. There's a few more high tones in my frame opposed to Steve's frame. So anyway, let's carry on. That's at an 8th, as we can see. And then we go into 4th, and then let's go right up to 100%. And there we are. So that's both at 100%. There's no quality difference at all, really. I'm just looking at this. This sticks out a bit, this bark that's missing, and that on there of Steve's frame. There's hardly any difference at all, really. Let's go up and just see the pixelation. So let's go to 200%. So that's 200% again. Pixelation wise, about the same, really. Obviously lost the quality because we're at 200%, but still pretty good. No difference really. And we did think that's me and Steve said, because we couldn't really test the dynamic ranges and compare them because it was such a flat day. So that's at 100%. So let's just take it out again. Colours wise, I think we were both on auto white balance. So perhaps a little bit more green tones and yellow tones on Steve's compared to on mine. Same as though we were both in auto white balance. See just this moss here compared to this moss here. Bit difference in the tones. I'm sure everything else was on auto. Obviously both Steve and I shot this at 70mm ISO 100. I was at f3.5. I think I was 14th of a second. Steve was obviously a bit of a longer exposure. He was at 1/4 of a second at f8. But I say we both focused on the same point of the tree. So quality wise, we can certainly compare that. I'll just take it out again, and there we go. There's the difference in file size. Not really much of a proper pure test because we weren't at the same settings, but certainly I know we focused on the same point. So anyway, yeah. So overall, obviously we knew it was a bigger file size. Quality wise, not really the right day to test it, but anyway, just thought I'd show you guys. Let's go back to the forest. So there wasn't too much difference in them images. Obviously file size is mammoth compared to the 5D Mark IV, but we know that the dynamic range is so much better on the R5, but we didn't really have the right conditions today to see that in action, really, the dynamic range. So it's just obviously, as you can see, just a really flat day, but really interesting just to compare them two images. But yeah, job's a good one. So thanks ever so much, Steve. Job's a good one. If you've got any questions, fire them to Steve. No, drop any comments below, guys, and I can soon ask Steve if I can't answer or whatever. And yeah, be good to get your feedback on what you think about the R5 and if any of you guys are thinking of getting it. And yeah, job's a good one. Well, thanks ever so much for watching, guys. Hope that's helped you out a bit. Certainly made me think about where my next spending spree might be going. But anyway, thanks ever so much, guys. Take care. Catch up soon.